Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.
I thought I knew the Lord until He saved me. He saved me from my sins and set me free. He took me up from bondage and set my spirit free. I'm so glad the Lord, He came and saved me. Oh, He saved me. Oh, He saved me. The Lord saved me. Oh, He saved me.
And that is, of course, Elton Prescott. He joins us now, and Elton is a gospel singer. That's something new, that particular one, written as he overcame his struggle with depression. So it's good to have you this morning, and as I was telling you before we came back from break, it's good to have you sharing in this way because there are not a lot of people who are willing to share stories like this. So good morning to you. And congratulations on the song.
Thank you.
Talk to me about how it came about.
Yes. Firstly, I just want to make some acknowledgements to my spiritual father, Dr. Janelle Brown, and the team from Prophetic Movement Ministries. Also, Cheyenne Bailey, who was being a good support for me for the past 3 years, and actually my daughter, Rishma Prescott. Basically, the song was written, after going through my separation and initially divorce. It was a very hard time for me at the time, coming up in a family where both my parents were Christians, and, divorce is not something that is basically, looked at, and, people don't go into marriage to get divorced. So it has been a real struggle for me because, I never expected to go into marriage to be divorced, but,
Yeah. Tell me about how you were able to work through it at that time and come out on the other end with a song of how you feel like you were saved, in effect, through an experience that I'm sure you're going to tell us all about.
Yeah, I guess the key part of it was actually my upbringing, my religious upbringing, where my parents, as I say, were Christians. My grandparents were also Christians, so I had a foundation of coming up in the church and actually knowing God, and that was probably the most important aspect of the recovery of what I was going through, because at the point where you come to a point where there's no hope, you have that hope of, there is some person who, despite what you're going through, actually is there to be there for you in your lonely time, in your darkest moments, in your weakest moment, in the times where pain is so real that you don't know how to actually deal with it. Yeah.
So I know, some people might ask, and particularly for people who are far more ingrained in what's happening in the church and who have relatives who might be far more involved than others, some people may beg the question, why is it that you felt at that time where you felt like you were at your lowest or you felt down? Didn't you go to those people around you or maybe, go back to the church to be able to guide you through it? Or was that a part of it? But at that stage, it just wasn't all that you needed at that time.
You see, being in the church is person must understand, that we too are susceptible to normal challenges like any person else. Now, for me as a man, it's hard for a woman, but it's even more difficult for a male, to actually get some support, because I find that people hear you, but they don't actually listen. And this sometimes the ideology that men are supposed to be strong, men are not supposed to be vulnerable. So when you go talk to people, they just hear you. They're not there to actually understand what you're going through, and that the fact that the pain is so real that it is crippling, and even within the church, something, you talk, and then, it's marriage. So that's a very ticklish area,
Yeah.
even within the church. So, as a man, or, you probably see some person out there that you like and you just want to separate, and, even as a man, how you all men are, and even the fact that I'm a police officer even made it worse because there was actually a little handle, or how you all policemen are. So they can't, there's basically not a separation between the fact, what I'm going through is actually real. I'm human.
Yeah.
Despite I'm a man, I'm human. And the fact that you need some person to realize, look, what I'm going through is actually real. It's painful. It's crippling. And because I didn't have that avenue,
Yeah.
I started to isolate myself. And in isolating myself, it started to bring on that depression. And when you're isolated, that's the time when the enemy started to creep in and started to make you have thoughts of actually taking your life. And that was a battle because, people say, oh, you don't have a reason to take your life, but you don't understand it until you actually find yourself in the position where that you're at your weakest and you're trying to find hope, but there's no hope because the people that you expect to be there for you are not really there for you. The times when you expect people to be there, you call people and there's no answer, or you say, let me call you back, but they don't actually call you back. So it's in those dark, lonely periods that, you cry a lot and you ask, oh, God, where are you?
Wow, and this song coming out of that really adds purpose to what you're doing. He saved me, and generally that's the message of the song, and that's the message you're saying, because that's what you went through. So make sure you check out this song, gospel singer Elton Prescott. We expect to see you performing all over the place.
Yes.
And we look forward to the actual video once it's out. We most certainly will share with our sister stations to be able to share this powerful message. Too often we've heard men talk about people not actually giving them the level of support that they need. So this is a message for us as well in terms of how we engage, how we interact with the males, with the men in our society. Thanks again, Elton.
Thank you.
Morning, morning, morning. Good morning. Good morning to you.